Alright, so cool. We are here with the tier list for the end of 2023. This year has been a crazy year. There's been a lot of metas gone through, a lot of ultras have dropped, a lot of legends limited. The meta has been all over the place. It's mad. But of course, we're ending it with Ultra UI Sign. We all know he's the final unit to drop in 2023, unless they sneak us with something new. They're not going to though. Anyways, I'm talking too much. We gotta get straight into this tier list. You guys want to know who are the top 10 units for the year, for this month, December, this meta. Oh, but we can't go anywhere because we gotta shout out DNGEE, bro. DNGEE's the man that makes the tier list. Everybody that makes the tier list, shout out to DNGEE, bro. You gotta follow him on Twitter, bro. He actually passed 3,000, which is amazing because the last time I made a tier list, he was at 2,990 or something like that. So shout out DNGEE, DNGEE_YT. Go ahead and follow him on Twitter, man. Appreciate the guy making the tier list. The link is here if you want to make your own tier list too. All right, so cool. We gotta get into this tier list pretty much straight away, and these are the characters that I think could potentially make top 10, right? There's 2 rows of characters. I believe there's 24 characters. If this is a row of 12, I'm not counting though. There's some characters down here, but I don't think any of them can make it, so you don't need to worry about them, right? If we're looking at the top 10 here, there's one character that has excelled since his release. And honestly, people didn't want to believe it at first. People thought it could be closer. People thought a certain person could be better. It's so clear now. There's nothing nobody's eyes can't see. Everybody knows this guy's #1, and it's Beast Gohan. We got 2 Beast Gohans before Dokkan, 3 Dokkan Stray. They need Beast Gohan. Even the Breakers has Beast Gohan. It's crazy, but cool. Beast Gohan #1. It shouldn't need to be explained. He's the most oppressive unit in the game right now. Transformation, take your Vanish. Blue card, Vanish is back. Vanish just restores for being alive. Damage is insane. Combos are long. It's all amazing. It's just much clearer now. It was always #1 before. If you were on the Evil Ken hype train, you are coping now because Evil Ken is amazing, right? But Beast is just so much better. And I always used to say, if you can do anything that anybody else can do, you're not that special. This guy here is such a unique character. Evil Ken, yeah, they have long combos, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. Yeah, they have cover no, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. But Beast, this guy is insane. Transform, take your Vanish, that is insane. Blue card, Vanish restore consistently. Not to say that nobody else doesn't have those things, but the way he does it, it's just so clean. Why is everything he does so clean? And that's why he's #1, bro. I don't really need to go into it. On top of the fact that his element also helps him out a lot in this meta. And the reason I'm going to explain that is because the #2 right now, right, is actually the newest unit in the game. I'm going UI Sign. Now, I need to explain UI's value gravely. UI's value is very sticky, right? And whether you want to see it or not, he individually has shifted the whole game on its side. Before this guy, Universe Rep was solid. Before this guy, Movies was running any color that they wanted to. But with UI Sign existing, the whole game has done this because they have to watch out for him. So that alone is enough reason to say he's top 2. Because he himself is able to dominate everybody. But if we really look at every other team, they've adjusted their team format so that they can actually fight him. And that says enough. Purple's getting cooked, and every other team is moving towards a team that can color counter this unit. That very rarely happens. So he's good enough to shift the whole game. He's top 2. He has to be. He has to be. Without a doubt, he is. If you don't agree, I don't know what PvP you're playing, because every game is either running UI or they're running a team to counter UI. And that it wasn't like that before he released. We gotta lock in with that, bruh. Now we gotta go into the #3. The #3 on the list is Evil Ken. Evil Ken has still remained high up. Of course, he's gone down 1 place, but it's not because he's any worse. It's simply because UI is better and the shift is too monumental to ignore. Evil Ken's long combos are still insane. He's still able to get that insane cover no. He's still able to switch elements, That all is super valuable, on top of the fact that he's on one of the best teams in the game. That should be undeniable. That should be accepted, and we're gonna take it for what it is. Honestly, I don't need to go really into much more detail about him, but he can spawn cards like there's no tomorrow. So Evil Ken should be 3, and I think that's fine. Nobody will be in grave disagreement, but we're locking in with that. #4 now, I mentioned this guy and I didn't really want to put him this high, but of course I was open-minded enough to see the value, right? We're putting up Goku and Bardock next. This is going to be a hard one to explain, but what I need to tell you is that his layer of indestructible with other units in the game makes teams unkillable. So it's the combination of what he can do with the fact that other units also don't die. So let me give you this team example. You have UI Sign, you can't hit him. You run him on the same team with Baku, you can't hit him. Or if you do hit him, he has the indestructible, so you can't kill him in one combo, except for that one tech that you can do with Beast, but that's why Beast is #1, so it's not a big issue. Then you run him with somebody else that's indestructible, like someone stupid, like a Saiyan, and then you're just cooking, you know? Like, for example, Pycon on Gogeta, just to put him out there. This unit here, every JP player has been running him. If you guys remember a while ago, people disagreed with me, but now everybody switched up. Everybody and their mother has switched up. Bardock and Goku are being run by the JPs so consistently, even though he himself isn't anything special. But it's more so the fact that you have to take an extra step because of his indestructible, and he has decent enough combos to actually take you out. And let's also point out the fact that he has explosive greens. I think explosive greens are a lot more valuable than people think, because you don't have to use your brain. You have to be a bot to not be able to use an explosive green. You just vanish, press the green card, combo started. And that is so free. On top of the fact that, again, you have to take the extra step to get past the indestructible. Even though the indestructible isn't that great itself, if you compare, if you add them to layers with like UI Sign, how you can't hit them, it makes a big difference to how PvP works. And if you run into a team with Bardock and Goku UI and the third can be anybody, it's gonna be a big problem to overcome. So that's why they're #4. People might not agree, but if you're in God rank and you really know. This guy has accolades in the highest ranks of PvP. Maybe not so much in the lower ranks, and of course not a lot of people summoned on him because he didn't appear that good. But you know who didn't appear that good? Pycon on Gogeta, and now he's on almost every team. So we really have to look here for what it is and trust the inside, bruh. We gotta trust the inside. I'm telling you, I'm spitting. So you might disagree, but time tells. Bardock and Goku, they are good, man. I'll tell you that, and top 4 worthy. I remember even saying before when they first released that Evo Ken and Bardock and Goku are much closer than it appears. People said, no, you're tripping. You're tripping. I said they're much closer than it appears because Evo Ken doesn't do anything necessarily special. They have the most long combos in the game, but this unit also has decently long combos, and Beast has decently long combos, but they can do more damage. Explosive Green starts combo easier, and the extra step for the indestructible to be bypassed. So yeah, that's top 4 right there. Now we gotta get to #5, and #5, in my opinion, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. We gotta put up Ultra Super Janemba, bruh. Ultra Super Janemba has movies in a secure spot. I know I like to downplay his gauge and say he's overrated, which he is, but saying someone is overrated does not mean they are bad. They are not bad just because they are overrated. Overrated and bad, they're not equal. You can still be top 2 but be overrated, because I might think you're just top 3, but that's only 1 place down. Janemba being here, he's a direct counter to this guy, right? The element there is insane. The ramp up is solid. He does crazy damage, and just because you have to get past his counter, you still have to work for it, especially if you're fighting a good player. So that's all undeniable. But there's already 2 greens that are above him, so really and truly, this guy's only obtained this high of a value because he's a direct counter to the #1 unit in the game. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. I've got #6, but I'm gonna explain a bit here. It's not that big of a deal to me, but I need to explain it. So yeah, #6, I've got Pycon and Gogeta, and I feel like it depends on your preference here. So for me, I'm explaining that 5 and 6 are interchangeable. That will be written in the tweet that I post or whatever, cool. So if you want to have Pycon above Janemba, that's fine. If you want to have Janemba over Pycon, that's fine. I feel like it just depends on what you have to use. Is based on you. So me personally, I like using Pycon and Gogeta, right? So me personally, I would have them above. Pycon and Gogeta's layer of revival is just so safe. On top of the fact that this unit here can have blue cards that can actually hit UI Sign. The close range blue cards don't be hitting that guy. So Pycon and Gogeta are very valuable because of that. But Janemba as well, the counter makes you move a lot more different in the same way that you move different when you use UI. Of course, you can just go ahead and front face it, but we have to be real, it's the extra step when you're playing. So these 2, depending on which one you agree with, it can be up to you. 5 and 6 are the only interchangeables in my list so far, but I think they could have equal value and like excel in different elements. So Pycon, we all know he's not that guy offensively. He's just not. He does have long range blue cards that can hit UI, I guess, but he's still not all that. So I think that holds back the Pycon and Gogeta unit. But when we get to Super Gogeta, ooh, that is a unit. That is a unit. But if we're looking at Janemba, he's a full force at all times, but he doesn't have that extra layer to protect him from like rising rushes. So even though he's doing more damage offensively and can be more of a menace to the team, and he counts as the #1 unit, he's also on the same team as the #1 unit, but so is Pycon and Gogeta, so we really have to process that. This unit here might keep you alive more. So if you want to play for the long game, Pycon Gogeta. If you want to play for the aggressive game, Janemba. Me personally, I'm going to put up Pycon and Gogeta. So this is why my list is going to look like this, like Pycon 5th and 6th. I just wanted the rage bait, but depending on you, you can move like that. Cool. All right, next we got Ultra Vegito Blue. This guy here is insane. He's insane. I don't know how he done it. How many blue units has there been? Super Saiyan Goku, Soda Hulk Trunks, 17, Goku and Bardock, Janemba. Who else is here? What other bums tried to take him out and they just couldn't do it? Zamasu over there, 7. Look, I'll take his ankles every day. Look, don't let him hide over there. Him as well, he tries to take my ankles. I'll cook him every day. I know you guys seen that video of LaMelo Ball. UVB cannot be defeated. I don't know how. I don't know how. You drop 1 red, UI sign, he's in a wheelchair. You drop 50 blues, UVB strong as hell. Of course, he's got aging right now. He's aged and whatnot, so he's not like top 3 or anything. But this guy is so consistent that it's nuts that he's still able to maintain in the way the game is right now. People really doubted him, and I think it's even amazing that he's still 7th, if we're being for real. If we compare to Ultra Super Vegito the previous year, it's even amazing that he's even 7th. I have to give him his props. The red that he is can demolish anybody on this list because he also has that green card that goes type neutral. The vanish removal is a free combo. The green card is a free blue. It could also be a free ultimate. He gets vanish recovery every time he takes somebody out, so he's easily able to free V1, and he gets the easiest cover now in the game from filling his gauge, which is super easy to do. So we're gonna have him at 7, but he's only down because of the fact that he's aged in terms of like power creep, so he's doing less damage, and there's 2 blues above him and 2 good blues at that. So it's really hard to break down a lot of elements in the game, which is why I have him at 7. Now, number 8, I think there might be an interchangeable here with 8 and 9, right? 8 and 9 might be an interchangeable, and it's quite tough to see, but we have to be real. So my interchangeables at 8 and 9, I'm gonna bring them up together. No, I'll bring them up one at a time. First one's gonna be 17. 17's value for universe rep still can't be swept under the rug. Let's be so for real. He's too consistent. No matter how you think his defenses have gone down, 17 is still that guy. He's an amazing partner for UI, amazing partner for Evoken. Units that are top 3 in the game, they want him. If they were doing face picks and we're playing football, you know, we're trying to play 5-a-side basketball, we're trying to play 11-a-side football. I'm the captain, I'm Evoken, I'm UI sign. I want 17. That's my MVP. I want to pick him first. I want him on my team because he's going to do what I need him to do. That's how I look at 17. He's universe rep carry, and that's the reality of it. People think universe rep, oh, like, you know, I see the MVP. I think MVP. That's how I look at it because of what he can do for the team. What he can do for the team. Remember, it's not what he does damage wise, it's what he does in the background, and that's what really allows him to shine. So we got him at number 8. I don't need to go into detail because I'd be glazing him so much on how much I hate him. So we got him at number 8. All right, cool. The interchangeable that I had was Jiren. Jiren, I've already explained prior to UI releasing, the best team in the game in my opinion. Jiren, 17, and UI sign. Those 3 cooked so dangerously, it's nuts, right? Jiren's endurance, the stocks was so high and people didn't believe me 2 tier lists ago. But now that Jiren's made the list, like, and everybody's accepting of it, people are quiet. But I feel like Jiren, I see him so consistently and he's hard to break down that it's undeniable that he has to make the top 10. But he could be 8th depending on how you want to see it. I feel like Jiren is a lot more tanky than 17. He gets the endurance on the rush, his ultimate hits hard, and his blast damage is more. So you might want to put him above for those reasons. But 17, I feel like if you don't even run Jiren, all of your other teammates would also be taking advantage of the value. So it's really like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I also want to point out that people might say, oh, well, Jiren can't do anything because UI is in the game. Well, if we really look at it, if I was to say UI can't do anything because of Beast, people would be like, wait, no. Because you have to be realistic. You have to be realistic with what teams are available in the game, and teams can still thrive. It's not a 1v1 battle. It's not a 1v1 battle when you're playing PvP. It's a team game. So reality, if you was to apply that argument about UI sign is taking out Jiren, I would just tell you Beast takes out UI. So should I put UI at 0? That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So Jiren's tanking a lot. He's tanking a lot. So undeniably, I think he makes the top 10 as well. His damage is insane. Whether you want to see it or not, this comes from a top odd rank contender. I'm being so for real. Now, the last spot is actually quite sad, and I don't really care who you give it to. But let's grab up some people that you might want to mention. Go Frieza. How the great have fallen. How the great have fallen. It's so sad that you're even contending for 10th. That's sad. Orange Piccolo. Such a solid 10 place. He's literally a substitute for Piccolo and Gogeta. Some people may even say he's better. I don't think that though. I think that's trash. I think that's trash. He's not better than Piccolo and Gogeta, but still could be top 10 for sure. Cell. Sorry, I grabbed up the wrong person. Cell. Haven't seen him since 1987. I'm not going to lie to you. This guy only gained value because Androids had half a team. They had 3 units and then they disappeared after people realized Androids was good. I don't know how. But Regen, he was also there, and he was gaining stocks from being UVB's bestie on Future. But we have to bring him up because he's still especially good. We got Bardock and Ape. Not so much Bardock in my opinion, but I just put him up because he's a new Zenkai. But Ape, ooh, people need to stop sleeping on Ape, bro. People need to stop sleeping on Ape, bro. I think the thing with Ape is that only Vegeta clan mains use him. It's only Vegeta clan mains use him. So if we're factoring in usage, which I often do, because in a lot of cases, PvP is only representative of what people use. So I thought if he was to take out the, for example, UI sign bias, I'm not gonna say he wouldn't be top 3, but he might be just 1 lower. But that's just my headcanon, right? It's sad for Ape because he just doesn't get used. I could play 100 games, I might see him 5 times, and that's quite sad. So that's just something I want to put out there. And I've seen a lot of people glazing Rev UI, right? And I think I can see why, but I just wouldn't value him that highly because there's just better options. But I'll put him up. So these guys, they're not going to make it. So let's just bring them down early doors. Let's just bring them down early doors. All right, so we have 10 here, and I got to take one of these. I'm not taking Rev UI. I think Rev UI is such a stretch. I think Bardock is such a stretch. I think Ape Vegeta, simply because of usage, is a stretch, but he is super, super good. He's super, super good. So I'm not going to dispute that, which is why they're still in the honorable mentions. If you want to have them top 10, that's fine. I'll even bring down Bardock. I don't think Bardock's in the same league as those guys. Cell, I think because of usage as well, and in terms of him being tanky or like what other people could offer instead of him, I think he's also not going to be in my top 10. And then if we look at these two, if I had to pick one, I would more likely go Orange Piccolo. I'm more likely to go Orange Piccolo simply because Orange Piccolo is at less chance of getting nuked in this meta, right? This purple, there's no reason to have 2 purples in the meta. There's no reason, you know? We have UI sign, and we already talked about the argument here. But just because UI sign is yellow doesn't mean purples can't exist. But if we're using Jiren, why is this guy here? And if you want to give the argument that, oh, Go Frieza, he has blue as well, but there's literally 3 greens in a row. 3 greens, and Orange Piccolo also possibly contending to take out the blue side. So it's really like, But if you want to argue as well, the purple is better than the greens, it's still not valuable enough because Jiren's already here. So you just don't need him. It's actually sad that he's fallen this far in one shift where UI sign has forced everybody to play differently. That's why Go Frieza wouldn't make my top 10, but Piccolo is a contender in my top 10. Piccolo has actually gained a lot of my respect. A lot of people use him. He's super consistent. He does the job that is needed to be done. He gives you that extra step of having to work to take him out. And I think that's what a lot of the meta and teams revolve around. If you name any team, there's multiple steps before you can win the game. Any team with UI sign, the steps you have to get through the dodges. Any team with Bardock and Goku, the indestructible, you have to get through it. Any team with Piccolo and Gogeta, the revival, you have to get through it. Any team with Ultra Super Janemba, you have to get through the counter. 17, the endurance. Jiren, the endurance, and Orange Piccolo is the extra step because of the revival. Every single team has an extra step that you have to work for, and I think that's what the meta is comprised about. So we're going to value Orange Piccolo over Go Frieza. It's quite mad that the game's revolved around that, because back in the day, if you're doing damage, you're making the list. You know, you need to be damaging and doing a bit of, you know, protecting on the side. But in most cases now, it's more about comprising your time, taking your time, worry about staying alive over just doing damage. So if you want to put these guys top 10, go ahead, but I'm not doing it. I don't feel like it's reasonable to do it. I'm seeing all of these guys 10 times more than 4 of these guys. 10 times out of 10, that's also not exact point to say, oh, they're better, but really and truly, these units here, yeah, they are consistent as hell, and that is naturally so. Just to make a last scan, let's look at what we have. We have Beast number 1, UI Sign number 2, Evo Ken number 3, Goku Bardock number 4, Python Goji to number 5, Janemba 6, UVB 7, 17 8, Jiren 9, Orange Piccolo 10 with the 2 interchangeables, these guys. And I think what I'll do, yeah, because I feel like somebody's gonna complain, like it's not gonna be clear because Dragon Ball fans don't read, right? What I will do, I'll delete this. Oh, I thought you died. I'll delete this row and I'll put 5/6 and fly 7/9, and I'll do that so it's a lot more clear. So like, you know that they can be interchangeable either way. So it's up to you, but everything else is just calm as is. And I'm happy with that list, to be honest. I'm happy with that list. All right, so we have this more detailed tier list, and we're just gonna basically explain all of the tiers. We've already done it with the stream. Shout out the stream for helping me with this one. Some things they open my eyes to a lot of cases, so we do this together. In terms of the God tier, these are units that just carry the game pretty much. And if you're wondering why UI is not here, it's only because he has Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct is, Goku is in this tier, right? But I've only got him here because his Ultra Instinct is more based on who's using him, right? I hope that makes sense. A terrible Ultra Instinct user is getting one-shotted by a Beast or a UVB Ultimate. That goes without saying. It's like, it can actually happen. So just bear in mind that UI can fit up here, but because the tiers are specific, that they have to be over here because of UI. So just lock that in, please, because I know people don't like reading or even try to understand anything that's not their own mindset. So cool, they should be pretty much self-explanatory. If you're wondering why Janemba, Goku Bardock went down, it's more so the fact that they're too strike orientated and not the best on their appropriate teams. So that's the only reason they're down. It's not that it's impossible to 3v1 with them, but they're not keeping up with the likes of these 3 when it comes to 1v3ing. So yeah, the support and disrupt should pretty much make sense itself. It's that extra layer before you're able to like take them down. Disrupt, support and disrupt Z, these are the highest support and disruptors. They usually get paired with these 3. They're always gonna fit together. So look here, this guy fits with this guy, with this guy. This guy fits with this guy, which makes sense as well. Jiren fits with this guy ahead of him and this guy ahead of him. Piccolo fits with this guy and this guy. Pan fits with this one, can fit with this one and this one, so on and so forth. You already see the pattern and it's very consistent. The support and disrupt tiers often fit with the God tiers. That's what's good about this layer. They usually support the team. The attackers are just the next level of attackers that are not God tier. So some people got moved down, like Janemba, Goku and Bardock didn't make it, but these guys can also still be good. Go Freezer got moved down as well. But these guys can still 1v3, and like not everybody, but maybe they can. But they're just the next level of attackers if you don't have these 3 or you don't want to use these 3. Then we go even down one further. We have the Ultra Instinct tiers. These are only here because they use Ultra Instinct. That's just to be pointed out. If they didn't use Ultra Instinct, then they might fit appropriately, but because they do, it's more so down to how the player utilizes them, on top of the fact that you can use them together. Using them together pretty much means you can't get hit at all because you'll just be switching every single time, avoiding attacks, and even with MUI, giving out damage, which is insane. Then the bench is not ordered, so it shouldn't need to be explained. This is a lot of good benches that you could use in case anybody needs it. Support and disrupt tier, just next lower levels of what we had up here, and the attack tier, just lower levels of what we had up here. So pretty much tier list accurately representing the whole meta on how PvP would work. I think it's a pretty good tier list, and I think this would be a lot more helpful to like newer players that are coming into the game, especially right now in the festival. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think about both of the tier lists. Give your opinion. I think the second one is kind of more self-explanatory, so maybe you'll have less thoughts, but the first one is a lot more difficult to get things in the perfect order. So let me know what you guys think about that one. But of course, press the subscribe button, man. We're on this grind to 100,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.